Although COVID cases have dropped almost 50% in the U.S., officials have issued a warning to not become complacent. Dr. Kohli joins us live. Dr. Kohli, hello. And of course, you're here to explain why. So Dr. Kohli, how likely is it that the Omicron variant will be the final phase of the pandemic? Is that a real possibility? Because I'm seeing some of our viewers write exactly that.
You know, it is a possibility. It's actually very exciting, but we don't yet know whether it's going to be the final phase. But what's different about this time around, because we've seen so many different phases occur, is that a lot of people got sick very quickly. And because of that, we're hoping it's sort of vaccinated or immunized much of the population so that at least for the short term, these people won't then be able to get reinfected, and it might slow down the spread of the infection. But I like to use the analogy of a roller coaster. When you're going up that hill on the roller coaster, you have no idea what's really waiting for you on the other end, whether it's a steep drop off or just a shallow one. In this particular case, guys, I hope it's as steep as can be, because that means we quickly drop off the number of cases and get our lives back to the way that they used to be.
Amen.
So, Dr. Kohli, should we be anticipating a fourth vaccine, because now we're hearing talks of this?
Yeah, we keep hearing more is not always better. And what I want us to do is really to shift away from counting up the number of doses at this point, because now we're no longer saying first, second, third, fourth. We're sort of shifting into more of a chronic mode where we're going to regularly be getting these vaccines. But I don't think, Erica, we're going to get the same vaccine that we've gotten the first 3 times around, the 2 originals plus the booster. Because this time around, I do think we should get an upgraded version of the vaccine. We should do a software upgrade, so to speak, and get an Omicron specific vaccine, which is what a lot of companies are working on. But it'll be an interesting question, especially for somebody like you and Anthony, who just recovered from the illness, when the timing of that booster shot should be, because you don't want to get it too early after your illness, because your immune system almost prevents the vaccine from working, but you don't want to wait too long either.
So, Doc, now that we have you here, people are getting a little COVID fatigue. There's a new study out about people going into cardiac arrest during sex.
Oh, that's why you choked. Because you're about to mention the word sex. Okay.
Because I'm trying to make this I don't understand how this is part of this.
We're children over here.
Let's do a thing about sex tomorrow, and let's do COVID today. But whatever. The odds. What are the odds of this?
Doctor here.
During a sex session, you know, what are the odds of this happening?
A sex session.
So people are having COVID fatigue and want to talk about sex, or Jeff is having COVID fatigue and wants to talk about sex? So Jeff, I am glad you asked this question. This is a question we should all be asking. It is pretty rare to have a cardiac arrest during sex. So I don't want us to freak out about it or worry about being intimate with somebody that we love. But having said that, it does happen. And so I'm really glad that we're talking about it to raise awareness. So if you take 1,000 people whose hearts may have stopped for any reason, 2 out of 1,000 will have stopped within 1 hour of sexual intercourse. Whoa. So either during or right after. And the reason for this is because the act of sex is actually a stress test on the heart. You can imagine, you get your heart rate up, you're breathing heavier, faster. So it puts a stress on your heart and can create electrical problems. Many of these people who had their heart stopped during sex had no pre-existing cardiac conditions. So it's not necessarily something that happens to old people like we had always thought before. In fact, what we learned is that the mean age was only 38. So the average age of these people was 38, and 1/3 of them were women and 2/3 of them were men. So I want to make sure that we talk about this, even though it's funny, in a really adult fashion, because if this was to happen to you, the first thing you have to do is to start CPR on your partner. Wow. Don't even bother putting your clothes on, just start pumping away.
Wow.
Ironically, that's what you're doing in the first place.
Okay, I knew that was coming. Okay. Thank you, doctor. If you have a question you want answered by Dr. Kohli, write us on social media. You can also email info@dailyblastlive.com. We'll be right back.